You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof of your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender. Got that walk up for you, man.
Well, thanks for having me, Ron. I appreciate being back.
It's Eric Bell. Bell Insurance Solutions is with us. And yes, I'm glad to have you back as well.
Okay.
And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. I don't know enough about engineering and chemicals and all that kind of stuff, but I have a feeling this one might be a little problematic in the United States of America today. Today's National Biodiesel Day. Is that renewable? Is that electric? I don't know if you're allowed to have it. I don't know. National Awkward Moments Day. That's any day that ends in a Y for me. So National Awkward Moments Day. Sloppy Joe Day. Where are you getting Sloppy Joes anymore? I don't even know where you go and get a Sloppy Joe. But, you know, I like Sloppy Joes. Okay. And Lacy Oatmeal Cookie Day. I've beaten anorexia. So I understand these things, and I looked this one up because I like oatmeal cookies. I like oatmeal cookies if you put a chocolate chip in them too. Think about that, Josh. I know you're a chocolate chip guy. How about chocolate chip oatmeal cookies? But Lacy Oatmeal Cookies, that's a thin one with ice cream on top of it. Can we put whipped cream on that too? I think we can. Hey, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 146 points. S&P 500 is up 42. NASDAQ is up 173. Oil is up $1.29 a barrel. Ow! Yeah, that's painful. Now, what's driving the markets? We'll look at that in a minute, but let's take a look. Gasoline prices, they are up again. California, $4.91 a gallon for gasoline. That's on average throughout the state. $4.91. It's embarrassing, isn't it, that Hawaii is at $4.70? I'm just throwing that out there because they get their gasoline. I'm sure it's shipped in from California, maybe Mexico. Who knows? But I'm sure it's shipped in from somewhere because they're not producing it there. And it's cheaper than it is here in California, as we do each morning. Josh is at $4.19. Take off $0.50 because if you're in one of the big cities, is probably about right. And Arian, my loan assistant, $3.03 a gallon. $3.03. Wow. I guess the oil companies like Mississippi better than California because the governor tells us that they're just gouging California's or the gas prices. It drives me crazy. Hey, take a look at these stocks. What drives the market anymore? It's the Magnificent Seven. What's the Magnificent Seven? Yeah, that's Alphabet, and which is Google, and Microsoft, and NVIDIA, and there's a few others in Amazon, a few others in there, Tesla. But the Dow being driven today, two stocks that are up big time. So we learned, and it's funny how the market works. So Microsoft and Google have been working on AI products. Apple says they have, but we have nothing to see for it. Well, now maybe Apple hasn't been doing such a good job because they're getting in bed with Google and they're going to want to put up Google's Gemini product on the Apple devices, putting both stocks, putting them up in the marketplace today. So that's a biggie right there. Now, hopefully Gemini will get their act together because they had some serious problems in the past just on some of their DEI issues. Unbelievable that they even deal with that in there, but it is what it is. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Tomorrow's going to be a big day on Ron Siegel Radio, so you're going to want to make sure you tune in. We're going to be talking about the National Association of Realtors proposed settlement. There are so many people out there that are not talking about this as being a proposed settlement. Thank you. I appreciate that. Our Facebook user friend, Genius Ron Siegel. I'm going to save this for my wife because I want her to know that. She won't agree. But hey, you know something? The National Association of Realtors, it's a proposed settlement. And the media, all they say is it's a settlement for $480 million. But if you read the settlement or understand the settlement, the National Association of Realtors is paying up that $480 million. There's about $1.5 billion, 1.5 billion more that's coming from some of the biggest real estate companies in America under the proposed settlement. Now, they're also going to be putting in there that we've got to get rid of some of the clarity. We want to make the transparency needs to go away, is what the settlement is saying. So when the real estate agents cooperate, the buyer's agent and the listing agent cooperate, well, they're not allowed to put that out there through the MLS anymore. So didn't that help for some clarity and some transparency? Can't be listed on the MLS. Wonder why that would be. However, the listing agent's website can have that on there. So you got to wonder, what is this all about? Why would they say it's okay? The listing agent can have it on there, but on their own website, but they can't put it in the MLS. So cooperating agents, buyer's agents, they have to go to the listing agent's site every single time to get the information if they want it. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. There's several other factors to it. We're going to go over the entire issue tomorrow. We're also going to put out some solutions on how to navigate this the legal way, because one of the unintended consequences that always comes from these settlements is they have the attorneys go in there and they all work on settling. What does the class action attorney want? Money. They had already said once they won the lawsuit back in October 31st, talk about trick or treat. They came out and they've now come out and said, we've been working for free all this time because they do these things on a contingency. No money's been transacted. They want to get money. So they're motivated to settle in some way. Now, the settlement, if you've been contacted by some of these copycat attorneys, the settlement has language in there to encapsulate all of these. So you may not even need to go with that new class action copycat. Part of the things we'll talk about more tomorrow in depth. Also, we're going to look at how can you follow the law or this settlement, which will be a ruling, because the reason it's proposed is it has not been signed off by the judge yet. But we'll also talk about that. How do you navigate underwriting guidelines, the guidelines to get a loan, which 70% of the loans are coming from the government. They go through intermediaries, but Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they buy them, or USDA, FHA, or VA insure them. How are you going to navigate all of that? Because one guideline in the VA process, just for instance, says that the veteran cannot pay a real estate commission. Well, under the guideline, how are you going to deal with that? So we'll talk about all of that tomorrow. So make sure that you tune in. We're going to have a big in-depth conversation on that. Today, we're going to talk about getting old, if you're lucky enough. And we'll talk about how to navigate that issue, how to deal with it. We're going to have some ideas. We don't want you to run out of money before you run out of life. And Eric Bell is with us to give us some solutions on dealing with that. We'll also talk about tips to make your strongest offer on a home. Did somebody say rsrperfectoffer.com? rsrperfectoffer.com? Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that during that discussion, and we'll see if we can get to what exactly is mortgage APR. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number is 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They give us the locked rates. They don't tell us APR, points paid, or points received. Locked rates is what you use to calculate your mortgage payment every month. 30-year conforming rates. These are Friday's numbers, the latest that are available. Friday's numbers, 30-year conforming rate up 6.867. 30-year jumbos down 7.091. 30-year FHA, 6.685. That was up a little bit. 30-year USDA, that's generally our rural areas, no down payment required, 6.642. And the 30-year VA loan, that's the best loan on the market for those that earned it. We appreciate our veterans every day, all day. Let's see, that one was down on Friday, 6.499. Those are all 30-year fixed rate loans. If you want our commentary, We do put out a commentary every morning on what we look at for the mortgage world. You can get a hold of that, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. Totally free to you. It's usually a 2 or 3 page, big type because I can't see very well, big type, and it'll tell you what we think is going on in the mortgage world. Again, that is free to you. Let's take a look at what's going on today. That we gave you the data for yesterday. Today, S&P 500 is up 46.75. I have to talk to Eric Bell about that one in a minute. The 10-year Treasury up 2 basis points, 4.33 is the yield. Mortgage-backed securities down 9 basis points, means interest rates are up very, very slightly. So we'll be watching that one for you. We are at some technical areas here. So I'm telling most people, hey, you know something, you better be careful if you've got a loan out there. Depending upon your risk tolerance and time horizon, might be a good idea to get that locked in. National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index increased by 3 points from last month's figure of 48 to 51 in March, which was higher than expectations of 48. Current sales increased by 4 points to 56. Sales expectations increased by 2 points to 62. Buyer traffic increased by 2 points to 34. And don't forget, if you think that everything's going great, which they keep telling you from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that one is, some people will use the acronym BLS. Based on what I've been seeing lately, we just refer to it as BS. So Danielle DiMartino Booth has come out with a lot of data, and it's just data, no opinion here, that the U.S. from an employment standpoint actually went into recession October of 2023, when 50 out of 50 states plus the District of Columbia all had increasing unemployment numbers. The only one that didn't have an increasing unemployment number was the BS group. So figure that one out. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's chat. And hopefully most of us are getting older. Hopefully. And hopefully we've got good health and good faculties, and we're all doing well. And Eric Bell is with us to talk about how do you finance that. And I love that headline you brought in, Eric.
Oh, yeah. I brought this headline in. You know, it's 2015, and it says this little kid on the cover of Time magazine is going to live to be 142 years old.
And from 2015, that kid was actually a real picture.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't have AI then.
And he's probably one years old at that point. So he's probably about 10 years old right now.
Wow.
So with medical advances and all the different things we know, he's going to make it supposedly to 142 if he doesn't get in an accident or something unfortunate happens to him. So let me throw this at you then, Eric, because so many of us in the financial planning world, I mean, do you do I know you do insurance work. Correct.
Are the insurance policies based on an actuarial table of 142 years of life?
Right now it's 120.
120.
120.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, again, keep yourself healthy. You can make it to over 100. Most of us are. And this year, I don't know if you know, Ron, this is the 1 year in the United States that more people are turning 65 than ever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they said that last year too.
No, they said it this year. 1959. That was the year.
1959. Really?
People
Okay.
Born in 59. Yeah.
So interesting. And you know, it's fascinating, not to get political in any way on this, but you know, a lot of the numbers that we watch when it comes to housing show that those people, you know, when you're looking at first-time home buyers, the demand diminished significantly and the building diminished significantly in 1970, started in 1973 when Roe v. Wade came about.
Right.
Because the births at that time were dropped dramatically. So fascinating to watch that. But now 65 right now.
Yeah, and you know, and young homeowners, usually what they're doing is they're getting money from their parents. Parents have leveraged their house to help them buy a house, or did a reverse mortgage to help them buy a house, gave them cash out of a reverse mortgage, things of that sort.
You know, I like that idea. I'm glad my kids don't listen to this, but you know, this makes this a smart idea, because then you get to the senior, the elder, because based on what you just shared, at 65, that means you're just hitting the halfway point.
That's right.
They get to enjoy the fruits of their labor with their kids and see the kids have it instead of, there's no, last time I checked, there was no U-Hauls in the processional.
No, a lot of people are doing living, I don't want to say it, living type of benefits right now. They want to see their kids enjoy the money while they're alive versus trying to see if they can see it from the grave. So
Right.
that's what's going on right now.
Now, the question becomes, because we had somebody on recently that was, we had Martha Jo Patterson on. She was a estate planning attorney. And she was saying that a lot of the parents are gifting and deeding properties to their kids.
Trying to switch it over, that can get complicated, but you definitely want to have an estate attorney do it for you the right way the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
And her comment was parents are living longer and then the kids put them out on the street. So got to do it the right way.
Yeah. And, one of the things I'm a proponent of is having a life insurance policy with a long-term care rider. Because if you make it to 120, who knows what's going to happen along the way? You could get sick, be put in assisted living like my mom is. We talked about that the other day, Ron. And then, other episodes have happened. My mom just had a stroke. So now we're looking at possibly nursing home if she can't return back to assisted living. But having that long-term care and assisted living, you don't have to liquidate any assets if you really have that in place.
It's another big push for sitting down with a professional who's got experience and putting together a plan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you and I talked about it. We were young at one time and kind of knew what we knew, but we know a little bit more now, but we're always learning. So, yeah, sitting down with someone in my mind who's tenured in their space is by far the best thing to do. So
let's throw this out there. What about somebody like me? If I do the quick math, I think I'm 61.
Okay.
Oversize.
Okay.
Pretty good health.
Yeah.
Can you still get an insurance policy anyway at this age?
You probably could, but you'd be rated. Just depends on internally what's going on. Weight's one factor, but also, your blood, all
still
the
have
different
some
factors. You got some, but you got to see what's going on with it.
Okay.
But all the other factors, more factors than just size that comes into play.
So you made a comment there that we need to, I'm a simple guy. What does it mean rated? Isn't everybody rated?
Well, you got super preferred. Those are the people that are absolute good health and everything checks out.
They're the ones that finished the marathon yesterday.
Probably. Yeah. And then you got the preferred, a little bit below that. You got standard, which I qualify for. Then you start going up the scale to about D or G in terms of your rating. And that just means it costs more for the life insurance.
Okay. So if I get but I still can get it.
Correct.
And I can still get that rider then.
You sure could.
Okay. So
no, it would how you would miss the riders if you had an incident where you needed long-term care in the last, I want to say 5 years, they probably would not give you the long-term care rider.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that would also be tied into the rating then, because
Correct.
you'd probably be rated if you had an incident in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's never too late then.
No. And and let's say it is too late for someone. There's always, let's say you're doing a reverse mortgage, you took some money out of that and you want to invest it somewhere for a lifetime income. You can buy an annuity with a long-term care rider on it also. So it's not really qualifying for life insurance per se, but using a life insurance product.
So you made a comment there, Eric, and I want to get into this because it is a little soapboxish.
Okay.
So I was watching the Business Channel last week, and there was a guy on there that was up in the Pacific Northwest and said, you never, ever, ever want to use an annuity. And I just, sometimes I have to hold myself back from throwing something at the TV when people are on there like that.
Yeah, that's what they say, and the thing I like about insurance products, there's guarantees around them.
Right.
When you get to a certain age, you want guarantees. You don't want the volatility of the markets. You and I started as brokers years ago. You don't want that volatility of the markets. You want to have a steady, consistent thing that you can count on, and insurance products provide that for you.
And so my soapbox is that there are no bad products out there. There are bad applications of products.
Correct. I agree.
Right. I mean, for this gentleman that, for his clientele, maybe the annuity isn't the right tool, but for somebody else, the annuity might be the best tool.
Yeah. And I would put it up against probably anything, depending on what your age is and what you're trying to accomplish.
There it is.
Yeah,
so it's not the product that's bad. It could be the application could be, or maybe it's not. I mean, it's just, you have to have somebody that's going to make, my point is you can't make anybody that makes a blanket statement like that to me, I think is a little bit misleading.
Well, you know what happened, Ron? Just same thing with reverse mortgages. They weren't bad many years ago. Annuities may have been bad or got a bad reputation many years ago, but everything has evolved and everything's a lot better and works for the right situation.
That's the key thing right there. We're going to continue our conversation with Eric Bell when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We will also chat about 4 tips to make your strongest offer on a home. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by the Real-Time Real Estate segment. We already did the Mortgage Minute. Is it Monday? I guess the day goes on. I'm still stuck there. Maybe is it time for a nap yet? The Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Glad I have Josh in the background telling me that I screwed up there. 4 tips to make your strongest offer on a home. Did somebody say rsrperfectoffer.com? They might have said that somewhere, rsrperfectoffer.com. Are you thinking about buying a home soon? If so, you should know today's market is competitive in many areas because the number of homes for sale is still low. And that's leading to multiple offer scenarios and moving into the peak home buying season this spring. This is only expected to ramp up more. Remember these 4 tips to make your best offer. Number 1, partner with a real estate agent. Rely on a real estate agent who can support your goals. As Pods notes, quote, making an offer on a home without an agent is certainly possible, but having a pro on your side gives you a massive advantage in figuring out what to offer on a house, unquote. Agents are local market experts. They know what's worked for other buyers in your area and what sellers may be looking for. That advice can be game-changing when you're deciding what offer to bring to the table. Number 2, understand your budget. Knowing your numbers is even more important right now. The best way to understand your budget is to work with a lender so you can get pre-underwritten, the modern loan approval. No, the pre-underwrite, that's old. It was good. Fast Pass, that's old. It was good. Pass Go, that's old. It was good. The modern pre-approval is the way to go nowadays. Doing so helps you be more financially confident and shows sellers you're serious. That gives you a competitive edge. As Investopedia says, quote, sellers have an advantage because of intense buyer demand and a limited number of homes for sale. They may be less likely to consider offers without pre-approval letters, unquote. Number 3, make a strong but fair offer. It's only natural to want the best deal you can get on a home, especially when affordability is tight. However, submitting an offer that's too low does have some risks. You don't want to make an offer that'll be tossed out as soon as it's received just to see if it sticks. As Realtor.com explains, quote, an offer price that's significantly lower than the listing price is often rejected by sellers who feel insulted. Most listing agents try to get their sellers to at least enter negotiations with buyers to counteroffer with a number a little closer to the list price. However, if a seller is offended by a buyer or isn't taking the buyer seriously, there's not much you or the real estate agent can do, unquote. The expertise your agent brings to this part of the process will help you stay competitive and find a price that's fair to you and the seller. Number 4, trust your agent during negotiations. After you submit your offer, the seller may decide to counter it. When negotiating, it's smart to understand what matters to the seller. Once you do, being as flexible as you can on things like moving dates or the condition of the house can make your offer more attractive. Your real estate agent is your partner in navigating these details. Trust them to lead you through negotiations and help you figure out the best plan. As an article from the National Association of Realtors, NAR explains, quote, there are many factors up for discussion in any real estate transaction, from price to repairs to possession date. A real estate professional who's representing you will look at the transaction from your perspective, helping you negotiate a purchase agreement that meets your needs, unquote. In today's competitive market, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's chat about your goals. Let's get you in position to make those come true. Again, Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Eric Bell, Bell Insurance Solutions, is our guest, chatting about how do we just plan for the future. That's the biggie right now, is understanding, we're all getting older. We're going to live longer. And a big worry for many, many people, I've heard this for the last 25 years, maybe more, is I don't want to outlive my money. So you got to have a plan. So what are some of our seniors doing, Eric, to help protect their assets, maybe create some sort of a legacy?
It all starts with the discovery meeting, Ron, just finding out more about them, more about the family dynamic, who they're trying to take care of in their passing and who they might be trying to take care of, while they're alive. A lot of parents are skipping the children and going to the grandchildren in many cases.
I like my grandchildren better than my kids.
Well,
my grandson.
The parent is usually the enemy between the kid and also the parent.
Exactly.
So it's the two against the one in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah. As you get older and older, and the grandkids are there, you start saying, something. Could I skip that middle stage?
That's right. And a lot of people doing generation skipping trust, things of that sort on a portion of their wealth. But I guess lining up with a good estate attorney, talking to a good financial planner or a financial person such as me, and also, having a good mortgage person in your hip pocket, because if you got your assets, a mortgage or real estate, commercial or residential, you want to be able to do the right thing with it.
Household board of directors. I should copyright that term.
A lot of people are doing it. A lot of
Household
people
board
doing
of directors. I mean, they're having that insurance planner, financial planner, CPA, estate planning attorney, family lawyer, whatever you need, a realtor, lender.
Well, all people can't be at one company. Usually you got to go to several sources to get the absolute best brand or best type of person for each particular situation, but have them working in collaboration with each other.
Tell us about your company, Eric. So do you represent many companies, or how do you work?
Well, I represent probably about 52 different insurance companies. I'm also securities licensed, so there's numerous things that I can do in terms of stocks and bonds. I'm also a realtor. But usually what I'm doing is I'm finding the best in breed for that particular situation for that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like the one size fits all.
No. And then outside of me, I mean, I have tax attorneys at my fingertips, CPAs, enrolled agents, real estate people, lenders like yourself that I can go to for help because I don't want to talk about something I don't really know about.
And that's a whole issue right there. Just because you start thinking about those concepts and you say, I know these studies that I need to do in lending.
Mm-hmm.
If I tried to do that in securities and then insurance, I would probably be doing a disservice to people because there's only so many hours you can be studying.
Right. During a discovery meeting, Ron, you're also finding out what's the next best step. Even though I might have brought the person to the table, the next best step may be having them talk to you about the mortgage and so forth. So whoever is the next best step, to me, that's kind of the leader of the conversation. Everybody needs to leave their ego at the door and come in and do the absolute best thing for the client.
Makes for a lot nicer life and a better client experience.
For everybody.
Right.
For everybody.
And something, one of the things you brought up there that I don't hear enough is the concept of that discovery meeting. And there's so many people that are just out there to sell something.
Well, get a product sold, make a commission. That's the way a lot of people work.
Right.
I don't want to say anything about the younger people getting into the world, but a lot of them have goals. They work for a big company, so they got a goal to meet every quarter. If they don't meet it, they may not have that job. So that's the pressure on them. When you get tenured like us and you work for yourself, there's no rush.
Yeah, and there's the thing. So you're more comfortable in the whole process because you're not in that moment saying, I got to cover the mortgage this week.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
So you're able to say, something, this isn't the right solution for you, but let's bring Eric in, let's bring in John, let's bring in whomever.
Yeah.
And find the right solution.
That's the absolute best way to do it. Instead of trying to put a square peg in a round circle, you don't want to do that because it's going to come back to haunt you.
So how long does your discovery calls or discussions take?
It depends on the family dynamic. I mean, it could be 2 or 3 meetings of an hour or longer, just talking about what exactly you want to do, who the moving places. I mean, we have people in second, third marriages now. There's a bunch of different kids from different marriages and trying to meld that all together.
That
and
must
then also
be
the
challenging.
business concept, big time challenge.
You got, I don't know about 30, 40 years ago when you had that, where there was, quite as many multi-partner households.
Yeah, but those people were having 6 to 11 kids at that time too. So it was even more complicated when you start trying to take care of grandkids and all the other kids in terms of what they want to see happen.
Absolutely. So that is a challenge. So what is when somebody wants to come to you and they're in their mid 60s,
mm-hmm.
What do they need to bring to you in order to kind of get the process started?
I think the first discovery meeting is just talking. They don't really need to bring much. They could bring statements. They could bring existing insurance products, investment product statements, and we could look at those. But I mainly want to just learn more about them and what's going on in terms of their family. Like I've been saying, the family dynamic, their business that they're in, if they own a business, assets outside, and they can just speak to those without statements normally.
So they're just coming and kind of giving you what their overall goals are, so to speak.
Right. And they probably got a number of questions to ask me. Where did I start? What did I do? They want to know some history on me. A lot of times people refer to me from someone else, so that makes it easier, but they still don't know exactly what I've done in the past. They want to learn more about that.
And so many people are totally confused. What does a financial planner do? Right. I mean, they've got the stereotype of the insurance guy. They're walking around with a suit and a briefcase and, that from the old movies shows, and that's really not today's program.
Well, it depends on who they are. If they're I'm going to quote unquote a millionaire client, they probably got a CPA in place. They probably have an estate attorney in place. So my role is to collaborate and partner with them for the benefit of their client. They're really the relationship manager, quote unquote, and I'm kind of stepping in to do my piece. So I kind of get in where I can fit in. If it's someone who's not that millionaire client, they're starting to start from the beginning, I may recommend a estate attorney for them. I may recommend a real estate person for them. I may make recommendations to them.
So if somebody's just graduating college, got married, having their first baby, is that too early to get started in this process?
Not really too early to get started in this process. Too early to get started in the process with me, but not too early to get started in the process.
Okay,
you're never too young. You're never too young.
So you still recommend that they have some sort of
Sit
a
down
consultation.
with someone. Exactly.
So are you dealing more in the retirement phase of someone's journey?
I'd say people 50 plus.
50 plus. Okay.
Yeah. So one foot on retirement, the other one, on a banana pill. They're thinking about it.
So they've got to get ready for it.
Get ready for it. And the sooner you get ready for it, the better off you'll be when you want to execute on retirement.
Maybe you have an opportunity to be retired longer.
Exactly.
We're going to continue our conversation with Eric Bell when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. RSRNoDebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. RSRNoDebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to RSRNoDebt.com. RSRNoDebt.com. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. One question. Do you have more than 2 months worth of unsecured debts, meaning debts that you can't pay off in the next 2 months? If so, why? Have you done your exploration? Have you looked and seen if maybe there is a benefit to doing a debt consolidation loan? Have you looked and seen if maybe there is a benefit to talking to our friend Chris about helping you renegotiate debts? There are a lot of opportunities out there. The question is, are you just putting your head in the sand, or are you actually looking at where the opportunity might be to help yourself and your family? Just throw that out there for you. rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Continue our conversation. Eric Bell is with us, Bell Insurance Solutions, chatting about financial planning, how to get to that enjoyable retirement, the time where you're not stressed. And we talk about debts, and I've shared this many, many times. Eric, you may not have heard me say this, but the reason I left the asset side of management was because I realized that more people wanted to be in debt than wanted to be financially free.
Yeah, that's kind of the way we do it in America,
right?
We see what we want now. We want the candy right now instead of paying for it.
Right. Let's get the mortgage and the biggest mortgage possible, and let's get that $1,000 car payment, now averaging over $800 for car payments in America.
Yeah.
I want to go on a trip, so I'll just put it on a credit card.
And that's all fun till you get to be about 50.
Right.
And then you start realizing how close you are to retirement and seeing other people around you retire, and you kind of go into a panic. You want to downshift and maybe do some smarter things at that point.
You hope that you still can do that.
Yeah. I mean, you got the income to sustain all that debt that you got. And, the point you just made on the commercial, Ron, is try to consolidate that debt to a smarter model for yourself, and then reposition or reallocate money towards your retirement, put it in the right places.
Right now, how do you deal with balancing in your line of work, as far as balancing a portfolio and getting the diversification that's required?
A lot of times I work with people from Merrill. I work with people from Morgan Stanley. I work with people from UBS. So a lot of times they want to handle the equity piece.
Okay.
And the way I look at insurance many ways is as a fixed income piece. I sold a lot of bonds when I was selling securities, more so than stocks. So I look at the insurance as more of a fixed income piece, and we'll tailor it to complement what they're doing. And then also we look at, we talked about it before, the long-term care piece. Because if you get sick, I mean, that can just kill your assets. That will tear up a legacy in a minute, having to sell assets that you didn't want to sell and want to pass on.
Especially if you're forced to sell. No one's ever forced to sell at a good time.
Ever.
Right.
And people know when you're not selling it at a good time, and they're going to go ahead and get you down to a price that they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that I've shared many times, I've actually taught this class over at Chapman College about using an insurance to retire just using the mortgage, no 401k, no IRA. What are your thoughts on index universal life policies?
I love them. I mean, they're cheap insurance. It's cheap insurance compared to whole life. You have flexibility in terms of what you're putting in. And, if you're looking at it as a retirement plan, you want the absolute minimum insurance wrapper around the cash so it can grow. You're not buying $1 million policy. You're buying the minimum insurance wrapper around the cash that you're putting in so it can grow and you can take it out when you get ready to.
And there's a lot of people that don't understand that you want the minimum insurance possible.
I know. And there's a lot of insurance guys that won't tell you that.
Right.
So, you want to make sure you're dealing with someone who's going to put the minimum insurance around that cash to have it grow for you.
Now, I know that when I was at Merrill Lynch back at the turn of the century, I hate saying it that way, but
you're dating yourself.
Exactly. You used to say, well, you can't pull money out of your real estate and put it into investments. And I used to say, something? If I could take the equity out of my property that's doing absolutely nothing for me, because there is a 0 rate of return on home equity, and put it into an index universal life policy, those are usually pretty safe.
Well, and Ron, you just talked about a tax situation that's going to be favorable for you too. I mean, you got the mortgage, which is the interest on that is deductible. You're moving into an annuity, which is now not a qualified annuity, it's a non-qualified annuity. So that your taxable events on the distributions is minimal.
Right.
It's minimal. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're from what I understand, and I'm not a tax guy, so consult your tax people.
Either one of us are.
Either one. Both, right, exactly.
Let's make that disclaimer.
And Eric's licensed, so we're not giving individual advice.
Yeah.
Right. This is educational stuff. If you want individual advice, call and make an appointment.
Right.
So you could when you go and you start taking the money out of your annuity or your IUL down the road sometime.
Right.
You're taking out, from what I understand, you're borrowing against it.
Correct. You're borrowing against your life insurance death benefit is what you're doing. But you can only borrow the cash value, but it's going to be offset by the death benefit if something were to happen to you.
So usually when I mention the word borrow, that means that there's not a taxable event there.
Correct. Tax free.
Right? Yeah. So if I borrow against my house, there's not a taxable event.
Tax free.
If I borrow against my insurance policy, that's not a taxable event.
I love tax free, tax free.
I like those.
Everybody
words,
does.
Right.
Everybody
those are my two
does.
favorite words.
Yep.
Right. And then when you go to when you pass, there's benefits with the insurance world to your estate from insurance benefits.
That's correct. You know, what you borrow will be subtracted from that death benefit. The proceeds will go to your beneficiary or your trust on a tax-free basis.
We said tax-free again.
I know.
That's 3 times.
I'm stuck on that.
You know, I like that idea.
Yeah.
So the whole idea here is, and I've said this many, many times, if you ever hear a financial individual say that a product is bad, well, number one, if it was bad, it would be all over the media and everybody would be talking about it, and there wouldn't be very many people offering it. So the question becomes, then you need to take, as a consumer advocate, I'm going to tell you, look deeper and see why. Is it because it doesn't pay that individual? Maybe. You might want to be talking to somebody who says, you know something, the product is not bad. It might be bad for your situation because X, Y, and Z are better, right? And you can offer those things. That's called education. And I hate to say this, but my late friend Steve Harney, he just passed away a couple weeks ago. He used to say that, you know, the people that are in the financial world should be acting with the heart of a teacher, right? I mean, when your discovery call, that initial call, when you talk about it, you're not expecting to bring in a new policy and sign the dotted line.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's going to probably be 2 or 3 meetings and conversations and maybe a Zoom meeting also before we actually get to that. Yeah.
Right. Because you got to find out what the right product is for the right person. And when you said you have 50 some companies that you work with,
even the right insurance company within what I have available to me, I got to pick the right one for that person based on what they tell me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. I think a lot of times when you, and not to put down the guys and gals that work for a specific company, but if you work for a specific insurance company, XYZ Insurance,
that's all you're pushing.
Then you're pushing that company, because it's like going to the big bank. You go and ask the guys over at Chase what Bank of America's rates are today. They don't know.
They have no idea. No idea.
Because their product is their product.
Exactly.
So I'm a big fan of when you have multiple companies that you can, you know, find the right source for the right person.
Yeah, the non-proprietary model has definitely been the best thing for the client. We're not using proprietary products. That's for sure.
So you said it much more eloquently than I did.
Say it again. Yeah, non-proprietary by far is the best thing for clients. You know, like I said, one company can't be all things to everybody. So the way my approach is to bring in the seasoned, tenured professionals on what we need after the discovery meetings and execute. That easy. And that's the bottom line too, is finding people that are going to execute on behalf of the client is by far the best thing to do.
And this day and age, you've got to really be chatting with a insurance professional that has your best interest at heart, because I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to say 99.99999% of the people never read the insurance contract.
Never.
Right?
Never. No, they don't.
There might be that one in a zillion that reads it.
Well, they read it, but they don't know what they read also, you know.
Yeah.
So it's legalese and a bunch of other language that you probably don't understand because you don't see it on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to trust that individual that you're working with.
That's right.
That they've got your best interest at heart, and you're going to get that after those 2 or 3 or 4 meetings that Eric's talking to you about.
Well, and even after you get the insurance contract, you got a 30-day free look. You know, you can look at it. We can discuss things. I always encourage people to look at it, read through it, mark things off so we can talk about it.
And I'm going to also throw one other thing in there. be very careful of going into any kind of these products, of any products, right after a major event. So it used to be that you couldn't buy earthquake insurance. I don't know if it is now. You couldn't buy earthquake insurance within 30 days of a major earthquake.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm not in the property and casualty.
Right.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So don't do these things on a emotion. Yeah. Do them on getting educated and understanding what's going on in the whole process.
And base it on facts.
There you go.
The facts for you. Yeah.
Fact for exactly. What's your situation? Because my situation may not be the same as yours. You may not be 61 years old and bald, right? I mean, so big issues right there. If you want to meet Eric Bell, give me a call at 800-306-1990. Happy to put you in touch. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.